do you say, everybody? And welcome to Roll Tide Pods. This is the Elephant in the Room podcast with Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillespie. We're going to talk some Alabama football. A lot to get into. I mean, look, man, we're back again. We're back home. We're finally back home. We're the elephants in the room.
Yeah, we just need an opposing coach to talk shit on Twitter. That's the recipe for success.
Oh, I know. Did you feel sorry for him at the end when he just was like, I got my ass beat again? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, not at all. No.
What was your favorite part of the week when he came out and had that question that I'm sure wasn't set up, where the guy asked about the Kevin Steele defense, and he's like, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a T-Rob defense to me.
That had to be the most. I mean, I just haven't. Have you ever seen a coach come out and say something like that?
No.
I have not. I mean, because that's pretty much a shot at, I mean, it's your profession when you're coming at a defensive coordinator that way, telling him he doesn't have the authority to call plays. I mean,
we saw this on film. Okay, right. You've been looking at this film, and it just stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, right.
I thought, like, what I loved is when he doubled down on it. Like, Saban came out, and I told you last week, I thought Saban should have just ignored him.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that, like, Saban's like that really great teacher that's kind of like up here, like advanced level teacher. And Kiffin's like the guy in the back of the room that is smart, but at the same time can't get it together. Right. Like he's
shows
like
up 10 minutes late, still makes good grades.
Right. You're like,
doesn't study.
How's this going on here? Like he's, he's like throwing spitballs and like passing notes and stuff. And he's intentionally like kind of disrespectful, but not in a way where he's like, like he thinks because the guy's older that he doesn't know that what he's saying is really like double meaning,
Oh yeah.
Right. But he's not fooling anybody.
No, that's right. I told you, like we were talking on the air, I was at practice Thursday and it's always good seeing all the trainers, all the staff that I've known forever. And when practice ended, Tyler Watts, Christian Miller, and myself were standing there on the sideline, and I know they've got chair drill and they've got other things they got to get to, but the first thing Coach Saban did was come over to us three and shake our hands and say hello and haul ass to that meeting. But it means a lot as a former player for your coach to come out and just out of nowhere and come shake your hand and say hello. And he did that, and I was like, gosh, man, I really hope Lane didn't come in here and beat Coach Saban. I love him too much. I don't want to see it happen.
Yeah. What did he say to you when you asked him who was calling the defensive coordinator? When he came up, did you ask him if he was a Swiftie? Hey, Coach, are you a Swiftie? Can you imagine that? Every time I've been around him, I don't know why. He just makes me nervous, man. I'm always like, this. It's just like he's so focused.
Oh, there's definitely like a nervousness there. I still have. You're just afraid to like screw something up. Even like just everyday life. I remember one time I saw him and again, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen Edelman talk about Belichick.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people. I mean, I know I do. You kind of get that uneasy, like, all right, I got to make sure I say the right thing and do the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I see him, and I remember, like, we were talking, and just for a second, and he was walking away. I shook his hand. I was like, all right, love you, Coach. And he looked at me. He was like, what the? He's like, what'd you just say? And I was like, all right, I'll see you later.
Yeah, bye. I think Saban would probably give you a hug, though. He just seems a lot softer.
Oh, no,
days.
he is. It's great. I mean, when you see him, he lights up. I see him at these relevant club meetings in Mobile a bunch. And then when I go up to Tuscaloosa, I see him. But he's always so happy to see. It's crazy the differentiation between what you see in the media and what you see in person. I mean, the guy's hilarious. He's not going to be as outgoing as Lee Corso, but if this ever happens, his personality would translate well to game day.
Yeah. Well, remember they said that he was kind of like looking. Was that when you were there? I remember this. I heard from some good sources that there was some serious talk, maybe not with him, but his agent, to go to Texas. I heard that. But back when it was happening, I heard this when it was happening.
I want to say that was like my first year at Alabama too.
And I thought that it could be that maybe he felt like he wasn't getting through. And then all of a sudden, he stays. And maybe it was because you guys kind of relit that fire for him. That's always been my theory. Now, I've talked to other people who know him and have talked to him. I don't know that that's true or not. But I think that with him, that if he ever loses the passion and the love for doing what he's doing, he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe your team was kind of part of that because it was like you guys were kind of a different group than the other ones that had won before you.
Well, I mean, we were seen as like the talentless bunch that was going to end the dynasty, and then we came back and kind of revived that in a way based on what the media was saying. I mean, we always believed in ourselves, but I think he kind of really enjoyed that underdog mentality that we had that year because we were underdogs for like the first time when we played Georgia. Underdogs for like the first time in years. And I think he loved seeing us kind of grind out wins and ultimately win the national championship that year. And maybe that did revive his love for Alabama or just the culture there. But, he's so deeply enriched in Tuscaloosa now in the state of Alabama. Means so much to Alabama. I mean, when he's done there, I can't imagine the tributes and the statues and everything else you think about Tuscaloosa since he's been there. I don't know if, you were in Alabama, went to Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, the transformation that place has taken since the time he started to now. I mean, you can't even recognize that place.
Oh, I always used to say when I was on the radio show with Ryan Fowler that Nick Saban kept my property value up. When the housing market blew up, back when it did, Tuscaloosa really didn't take a hit. And I feel like it was because of Nick Saban. I mean, we got pretty good value for our house when we moved out of there. And when I drive through town, and I'm there every weekend for the home games, it's amazing how the campus has blown up. The Strip looks a lot different now. Some places I like, some places, I like the old Houndstooth better than the new Houndstooth just because I'm a sentimental guy.
Yeah.
But the new place it's new. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to catch on fire either.
Right.
The old Gillettes, I loved it. Spent a lot of time in there.
Need one of those weekends. I may come join you and head to the Houndstooth.
Let's do it, man.
Was always my spot.
That's where I do my show a lot.
Yeah. After games.
I got a tab too. You come do the show.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. FYI, man. Now, Tripp and those guys are cool, man. That place is. Look, to give you an idea, I remember when they opened it. Not the one where it is now, but the other one.
Yeah.
That was where the Gray Lady is.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. When I got there, I was like, what does Innisfree mean? Does that just mean there's no cover charge?
I'm in. That was before NIL. See, if you were in school now, I'd love to know you because you'd have a wad of cash.
Yeah, that's right.
And I got this I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus but one of my buddies went to Tennessee back when Tennessee was really good. Mm-hmm. And he was from my town, and I'll never forget this story. He's like, I roll in, and he's like, one of the first guys he meets is his cousin's on the football team.
Uh-huh.
And his cousin is a guy who had a great NFL career. And it wasn't Reggie White, by the way, but it was somebody else. And he's like, after big games, he'd always have a wad of cash. The cousin, because he was getting hooked up, for big games. And now everybody just does it, and they still have a wad of cash. It's just in their bank account, and it's legal,
Yeah. Now they got to report it.
Yeah, I know that. I'm wondering, like, with the IRS and stuff, how guys are handling that. You know what I mean? Like, I got a feeling that some of these NILs, the taxes aren't going to get paid. It's too fresh right now. They're not, they haven't been tracked down yet.
Oh yeah.
But there's a downside to this too.
Yeah, once they realize what percentage they have to pay in taxes, they're going to be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, but see, I would have hung out with you before you figured that out.
That's right.
It was like when Jeff Samardzija was on the Smokies. He was just he'd go out. If he was out, the shark is to pick up the tabs.
That's right.
He was like a
What
Cubs.
is he up to now?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, man, he was a monster athlete.
Yeah, he was. I saw him. My brother played at the Air Force Academy. My older brother did, and they came to Notre Dame one weekend. I guess it was the first Air Force game I went to, and man, it was him and everybody knows the Notre Dame quarterback back in the Brady. Brady Smith?
Brady Quinn.
Yeah. I mean, those two just, of course, I mean, it was Notre Dame and Air Force, but man, he was just lighting them up.
He did the same thing to USC.
Yeah.
I mean, like back when USC was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know what kind of money he made in the MLB, but he would have done pretty good in the NFL too.
Well, he was, I can't remember what his draft round was, but they basically, before MLB slotted the draft, they could just like draft you in whatever round and pay you whatever you wanted, to keep you out of the NFL. And the talent pool for baseball, I think, has gone down because they've slotted it now where you can't do that. Like you got to pay this for the first round, this for the second round, this for the third. So I don't think he would have played in the MLB. Yeah. I think he would have gone to the NFL because he would have been a high draft pick. I think probably like end of the first, second round.
Say late first.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he would have been a great NFL guy. People, you don't realize how big he is until you're like kind of standing there next to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that guy seemed to understand football, how to run routes.
Oh, yeah.
Effect coverage. I mean, that guy
he was good.
Yeah. He had
great two-sport athlete, you know.
So you knew him pretty well?
Yeah. I mean, I just knew him from being on the team I was broadcasting for.
Pretty good guy.
Great. I liked the great guy. I loved him. Yeah. I think his brother's an agent, so I think he's still like rocking in the business. I'm sure Jeff's surfing somewhere, His nickname was the Shark, and you even got a fins up behind you back there. So but yeah, I love those like two sports guys. But you would have been that guy. I mean, we just would have found you. Like, where's Jake going tonight? All right, Dennis, everybody load up. I'm sure that's how it is now. The NIL has changed the world, though. I'm sure for athletes and stuff.
My thought on it is all these money guys talk. I mean, it sounds like, and with these collectives, to me, you shouldn't make money just for committing to a school, like,
right.
I mean, prove yourself on the field, and when brands want to come out and endorse you, that's one thing.
Right.
But for schools and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but these kids are getting paid to go to school by a collective, or somehow they're making it work. I mean, I like to see the way Bryce Young did it, where that guy's just dominating on the field, getting paid for his performance, pretty much, and I don't know. The kids, I mean, I've just heard so many stories of guys getting paid $500,000 and then transferring. And then, these people that are paying these guys are like, well, what was that for?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way I'd pay for a kid out of high school that's never proven himself.
No. Dion says he's not even going to really recruit high school guys.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
They got a beat down this week, but you know what? I still think he's going to be fine. I mean, they should get the beat down by.
I mean, you knew it was coming. The media wanted something to talk about. They got it for a few weeks, and I think we all knew that wasn't going to last very long.
You and I were talking about this. We were talking about the Ohio State Notre Dame, like the Ryan Day, Lou Holtz. But let's start with the Dion getting talked about by Oregon's coach. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
He's like in the locker room, like they play for clicks.
I mean, it's just served up to you on a silver platter. I mean, you got plenty of stuff to talk about to motivate your team, and I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Dion handled it well, though. He's like, get us now. Because I know they're going to get better. But they might not even recruit high school guys. They're just going to go they'll probably get a couple guys off of Oregon for that.
He'll get the talented, frustrated guys,
Yeah.
He's just going to snipe them off the best teams, But no, Dion's going to figure it out. I mean, he's got a hell of a coaching staff behind him too. So.
Yeah, you played for some of those guys, right?
Oh yeah. Charles Kelly, Sal Seri, Tim Brewster. I mean, all those guys I ran into at Florida State and Alabama.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got some. I don't know if you want to call them blue bloods, but guys that have proven themselves time and time again in the NFL and in college.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, I thought the best game of the weekend was Notre Dame. With, by the way, I got to tell you, the Notre Dame uniforms kicked ass, man. Like, I loved them. The gold helmet with the green on green, and then that and the atmosphere there, like it just looked like it looked like old school Notre Dame football.
Oh yeah, man,
loved it.
We played Notre Dame when I was at Florida State my freshman year in the Citrus Bowl, Champ Sports Bowl back then, and I mean, Notre Dame travels there. I mean, no matter where they've been, the first time that game had ever been sold out. And, I mean, we get out there and we're on the sideline and they start playing Shipping Up to Boston. And that crowd's going just ape shit. And you got these big, jacked white dudes. I mean, the gold helmets shining. You're like, holy shit.
Hey, that's how I felt when we played them in the bowl game. Like, I was on the sideline. I wish I had the picture. I'm standing there with Vince Vaughn. I'm on the side. I mean, it's like this is a celebrity, group for that game. And I see them with those uniforms, and I'm like, man, these guys are huge. There's Manti Te'o. You ever seen him before?
Got it.
But I'm like, look. I'm like this. Like, I'm standing there and I'm just like, man, I'm an Irish Catholic guy. I'm about to let you talk here and fill this beer up and turn the air conditioner back on because it's getting hot.
It is.
The experiment didn't work. My glasses are foggy. But I mean, there's just something. I gotta give them credit, man. There's something about just the whole mystique, man.
I mean, that song playing with those dudes jumping up and down at kickoff, we're all they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's gonna happen here?
I feel like we're pretty good, but you see this? I mean, no, but again, you play Notre Dame. That's something. I don't care if they're, 5-5, whatever. I mean, playing a historical program like that with that, like you said, that mystique, that Irish type juju going on. It's so much fun.
Da, da, da. Like you're like, oh wow, they've got I don't know, being at the Orange Bowl for that game. And like I said, it was at a press pass. I'm on the sideline. Seeing those two uniforms together was pretty sweet. I'm one of these Alabama fans that worries about every game. Like, I just worry about every game. Like, Saban, the best thing that Saban ever did for me is that I don't have to wear my lucky shit anymore. I don't have to wear my
underwear you hadn't washed in 12 years.
Yeah, everybody used to have, like. Andrew Bone mentioned this the other day on my show, and I was thinking about it. Like, he's like, when Shula was there, I was always like, we're going to win every game. And then we ended up like 7-6,
Yeah.
But that's the Alabama fan mentality, even when we're not good, we think we are. And
it's like the year we're playing Florida and we're like, oh my God, we're up 31-3. We're going to, we got a chance. And then pro throw. I mean,
you're like, what's he doing in there, man?
Oh my God.
I know, but that was how it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I had taken off my lucky shirt. I don't know. You know what I mean? Though, like, I had like this regimen of stuff I had to eat and I had to do, like game day. And I know a lot of people watching, you guys can even mention whatever your lucky stuff is. Then Saban came and he's like, I don't believe in any of that.
Right.
Like, now we're just going to go play this football game. And then they just kick the crap out of people. You're like, so.
Oh, did you see that video of him critiquing that block punt?
No, I would love to.
Oh my gosh, him and Chris Stewart.
Oh, I love Chris, man.
No, they're sitting there talking. I mean, me telling the story isn't going to do it justice.
Check it out.
When you see Coach Saban get all like goofy, like laughing. Of course, kind of surprising because it was a negative aspect of the game, but he was like, this is how we blocked the punt. This is what we did, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and we were able to block it and get the ball on the 1 yard line. Didn't do a very good job once we got on the 1 yard line. But,
yeah. Hey, the press conference today, it was like he's listening to what I'm saying. You get the ball at the 1 yard line. Stay the hell out of the shotgun, man. You got the best. Your quarterback's a great running back.
That's what I mean.
And he said the same thing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
in his way of saying
it's one of those things. You're being too creative. You're on the 1 yard line.
Just bowl those guys over and score.
Here's the thing. If you don't score four straight plays on the 1 yard line, you don't score. I can accept that just because.
Me too.
I mean, look, run the ball 4 times in a row. Just. You're on the one. Make it happen. We got the players. If you don't score, then hey, that's on the guys on the field.
Right. Seth McLaughlin, man, he was supposed to be, in my mind, one of the strengths of the team, and it's these snaps. Is it like I'm looking at it from the baseball perspective? I've spent most of my life around baseball.
Yeah,
and then you'll see like pitchers go through times where they have difficulty throwing strikes, or like even like guys like Chuck Knobloch, who was a baseball player that just got what they call the yips and couldn't throw it to first, on ground balls. What's going on, man? I mean, do you think that it's something like that, or is it that is it a new quarterback thing? I mean, the snaps are they're so inconsistent right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've never, I don't have the build to be a center. I've never snapped before, but I mean, I always thought, just snap it soft at least so it doesn't go over my head and I can at least recover if it is bad, right. Snapping the ball is most essential part of the game, the quarterback center exchange. You've got to figure that out. And to me, especially a young quarterback in this day and age with all the movement going on the other side of the ball, I love the shotgun because you could see everything. You could make fakes, play action, and see where everybody was going instead of having your back turned. So to me, I mean, again, I don't know what you got to do. I don't know if I would imagine it's got to be fixable. I've never been a center before, but that has got to be fixed, addressed right now.
Yeah.
Because again, that the second half of that game, that was our potential. That was what we could do. I mean, the first half it was crazy, the difference between the first half Alabama team and the second half Alabama team. No mistakes a lot of mistakes in the first half versus almost flawless football in the second half. I mean, we got a chance, you know?
Well, let me tell you this. Our show is brought to you by MyBookie. Make your money work smarter, not harder with MyBookie. Celebrate your winning season. I'm not having a winning season. We'll get into that in a second. But if you are, with MyBookie's biggest welcome offer ever, it's a 110% deposit match on your first deposit, which maybe this is what's going to get me turned around, Jake. I need to do this.
Don't count on it.
I'm having a dreadful season. You heard it right. You can more than double your money before you even place a bet by making a deposit with MyBookie. All you have to do is go to mybookie.ag and use promo code NEXTROUND to claim this bonus. But make sure you act quick because this offer is only available for a week, and you can only get it with the promo code NEXTROUND. With a full slate of NFL and college football, there's plenty of options to bet and win. So don't be the guy who misses out. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. So there's MyBookie, and I'm just glad that we've got Lance's Lock to help people like me. And I'm going to tell you this story, and then I want to get back into the football game. I pre-record the gambling segment on Thursday because I've got a lot. I've got so much stuff going on. This is for my other show. And I saw Lance on Friday on the Next Round show. Giddy about the Colorado game. and watching him, the only thing that I thought was, I don't even want to say the word because I had already taken Colorado in the points. He's like, and Lance is great at this stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
And then watching that, I'm like, crap. It's another word I used, same concept, because I'm like, he knows he's got this.
Oh yeah.
And he absolutely buried that. It was like 35. I got to the hotel I was staying at on Saturday. I walk in and the game's on in the lobby, and it was like 35-0. And it wasn't even, I think it was halftime.
No, yeah. That was one of those, again, I think Shedeur Sanders is a great player, but I took Nebraska versus Colorado because that line was, to me, all jacked up. But then when this one rolled around and I saw the 22-point line, I was like, oh, this is it.
It was 22?
Yeah.
And you jumped on it too.
It was in the 20s. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a group I consult with over the week. And
is it Lance's Lock? Well, Lance's Lock, he's been killing it with the NFL too. So they also bring you the Elephant in the Room podcast. But yeah, I mean, like you all put your heads together like it's like a think tank or something.
Oh yeah, Oregon, Alabama, and then there was one more, but it was a big favorites week.
Yeah, I lost that one too. I'm gonna grab a refill. Let me know if you want one.
Yeah, I might as well.
I mean, I didn't bet against Alabama, by the way.
I bet Alabama. Of course, I never bet against Alabama. If I don't feel good about it, I just not bet. But
well, this wasn't betting against Alabama.
I took Bama over Ole Miss.
I just took Ole Miss because of the points.
And again, when I do make bets, really none of it has to do with what I think from a X's and O's standpoint. Yeah, right. It's literally all about if I think Vegas's line is messed up. Don't want to get caught on the sucker side. Of course, I did take Florida State because I can't pull against my Seminoles. But
hey, they had a great win.
Sucker bet.
They had sure. What was the line on that?
It's like 1.5.
Oh, so that but let's stay with Alabama. We'll get back to that one because I watched that one.
Yeah,
that was a really good football game, I thought.
Oh yeah.
The reason that I took Ole Miss was I thought Alabama would win. I just thought it would be, kind of like the first half was.
Yeah.
And we saw in the first half, Ole Miss moved the ball. They had the quarterback sneak for a touchdown. Alabama struggled. And the interception, just stuff that was going on there. I was very concerned about I just didn't feel like things had gotten better. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, in
the first half.
The first touchdown drive Ole Miss had, it was like, they just marched down the field and then the quarterback draw where,
wide open.
I was like, oh my gosh, and you've just seen the sacks and then eventually the interception. But, it looked like, again, if we played a organized, not penalty-free half, we would have been dominating that game, which we were lucky to be. To be only down one with all those mistakes gave me some confidence, actually. To only be down one against Ole Miss and having done all the things that we did to screw it up. Yeah,
them missing the field goal, I think, was a big turning point in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's just 3 points, it's just the mentality of, I thought they won the first half pretty convincingly.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I went from thinking Jalen Milroe had potential to be a really good quarterback, and he made me believe this weekend. Now, I know the interception was, that was an awful interception, and again, I've thrown him too. I understand it. Sometimes it just happens. But, man, I tell you, he ran physical like we talked about last week.
I thought about you when he was trucking
going out
dudes.
Of bounds. He was freaking all over it.
Yeah.
You have to think the team is like in love with him right now. Just to me, the toughness he showed, threw a couple balls, just taking a beating, stood in there, made the throws. Held on to it just long enough to make that read, knowing that, he saw that guy coming.
Oh, the touchdown?
Like, oh, yeah. He's like, oh, shit. Ah.
And it was perfect. His deep ball is beautiful.
It really is. That freshman receiver, Hale, and then that catch Jermaine Burton caught where he had to readjust.
Receivers are doing a good job this year.
Oh, yeah.
Give those guys a lot of props because this is getting back to Alabama having receivers.
Well,
again.
it's we got to take advantage of the deep shots we take.
Yeah, and they catch them.
Every single one I've seen so far this year, they've caught. They've made a play on.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I thought that play was like.
I mean, that was an unbelievable catch.
Yeah.
The throw, I mean, could have been better, obviously, but, you know, he's getting hit, and he's just trying to get it out to him. But to readjust and catch it over the safety's shoulder.
That was beautiful.
I mean,
turning point of the game there, too.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the wind knocked out of you like that?
I have in high school.
I have, too. It's awful.
I'd say, yeah, I mean.
You think you're going to die.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, like.
When's it coming back? When's it coming back?
Well, I didn't. I've only had it happen to me twice. Mm-hmm. Once in a football game and once outside playing with my friends, like just pickup game.
I've had it happen a few times.
Yeah, but the first time it happened, I really thought I was going to die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, you're just like, it's the worst. It's the worst 2 minutes of your life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's, I mean, so bad.
Like
you can't breathe.
Yeah.
You're trying to breathe. You can't breathe. I guess that's what a fish feels like when you pull it out of water, right? Yeah. You're like,
I mean, yeah.
And then like a minute, like you get up, and like 2 minutes later, you're fine.
Oh yeah. The only time really in an Alabama game where I was really hurt, you might think this is funny, but we were playing LSU and Lane calls. There's a snag route like on the 10-yard line, and it's a play action pass. I go to fake to Derek, and I look up, and everybody's kind of dropped into coverage, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to run this thing, and so I just take off, and I mean, I see. As I'm running, I see Deion Jones, LSU linebacker, coming up, and I just kind of close my eyes and I just, try to hit him and see what happens. And we make contact. I feel him hit my right shoulder, and then I realize I'm still on my feet and nobody's around. I was like, oh my God. And I look back up and just to see a gold helmet. So I'm like, oh shit. Here we go again.
Yeah, yeah.
And I, again, closed my eyes and put my shoulder down. And then I just remember being on the ground. And that was the only time I felt like I really saw stars. And Dominic Jackson comes up to me. He's our right tackle. He picks me up. And I'm like, looking around, and he goes, and he told me, I got up and I just said, whoa. and then I remember him go, hey man, the huddle's this way. Carrying me over. And so what happened was, and I didn't realize at this time, my shoulder was like felt dead, and I had separated my shoulder on that play.
Oh no.
And so the next play, Lane calls a pass play, and we put Calvin in motion. He's running back and forth just to get separation on the DB. And Calvin's open in the end zone, man. I snap it. I'm rolling to my right and throwing it to him on a flat route, and I throw it like 10 yards short of him. And I was like, oh my God, something's wrong. Like, And it turns out I had a separated shoulder, and anyway, got the good old shot for second half and kept on going. But
really?
Oh yeah. You just don't, I mean, a lot of those guys, and I guess, I mean, Jalen, hopefully that's all that happened, but you just never know.
Those I've never had cortisone shot. They work that well though. Like it
wasn't a cortisone shot. That's the numbing shot. I did get cortisone shots too, which help.
Yeah.
You get the cortisone shot and it lasts like, I think, a couple months.
Yeah.
But before the game, you get the numbing shot, whatever that is. Toradol. I don't know if it's Toradol or Novocaine or whatever, one of those numbing shots. And anyway, I didn't like it too much because it feels like you just can't feel anything.
Yeah.
But when I got it, you can kind of feel a grinding in your shoulder when you throw, but you can't. It doesn't hurt.
You just don't have touch and feel.
Yeah, it's just very strange.
Yeah. How did you do in the? I mean, I know we won, but
thank God for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, a lot of handoffs.
I made a few throws, but and then we played Mississippi State the next week, and I was able to just kind of, wing it out there, and Calvin Ridley scored on a short pass, and Derek, scored a bunch of long runs. But
he's awesome, man. He was. I watched all your games. I mean, I think I went to every game.
Yeah,
or maybe the majority of them. I've got a pair of boots that my favorite boots. I wore them to Athens, and remember that rainstorm that came out of there. I had to leave there to go do the post-game show, and they were brand new. And I'll never forget it. It was coming down so hard, like in those stadiums, like it was like being in a fountain, like the water's going down the stairs. And I did the post-game show from Mike Johnson's. He had an RV, like a big giant RV, like the little table at the RV.
Uh-huh.
And I never took those boots off because I couldn't get them off. And I thought, man, I'd probably ruin these boots. And I wouldn't take anything for them. Like the next day, they like formed to my foot. But it was that game.
You got to break them in.
Oh, man, it was perfect. I mean, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Like going there and just watching them get destroyed.
That was the best feeling. The best feeling is seeing the guys in the spiked shoulder pads and the paint. Just
Get
like,
out of there. Yeah, like what's going
looking
on?
at each other like we dressed up like this for this.
Yeah, right. I was
in
at
the rain too.
Oh, I know. I was at the blackout. That was an amazing game to be at.
I still remember watching that game.
Oh man, I was there, and the thing I'll remember about that is how do you get that many people to wear black? Like it could because I knew where every single one of us was.
Oh yeah,
because they all wore black, and then we tore up Athens afterwards. Like that was
the one. Coach Cochran's calling it a funeral.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Calling it a hot mic.
Yeah, Mike and Barron were both there at the time. They were on the team. That was kind of the coming out party for the Saban era.
Yeah, I remember that was the turning point.
Yeah, But I mean, going in, like being barked at by everyone. I hope our fans aren't barking at people. I hope that I'm so big on, having gone to Alabama, and the way that I was taught you cheer at Alabama is you're respectful to your opponent. Like you're just like, hey man, thanks for being here. You know, like you score a touchdown, you hand the ball to the official. Like we're just going to kick your ass with a professionally.
When you're accustomed to winning, it's pretty easy to be classy, but when you play Ole Miss or Georgia, well, Georgia's getting there now, thanks to Kirby, but they had some rough years there. I mean, every time they played Alabama outside of 07 in Tuscaloosa
I was there for that one.
Yeah. I mean, they had a rough stretch there for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
they really did.
But my family had a rough time at Georgia, man.
They had a tough time. Yeah, that's how it was for us. And then afterwards, that blackout, that was one of the best. That was one of the best all-nighters I've ever had. The best, man. Yeah. Like I love, and I put Athens. If you're grading like the downtown atmosphere, I like it better than Tuscaloosa.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been to Athens. I mean,
because of the blackout.
I've been to Athens, to play, but
they showed me a little something that time.
Yeah,
a lot something. It was great. But there's just a lot of bars. Now I think Tuscaloosa is up there. The strip's up there. It's just more of the strip. It's like 5 strips.
Yeah. All clean and nice.
Yeah. It was great, man.
I didn't know. Did you see Max Johnson come in for A&M this weekend?
Yes.
I didn't know his uncle is Mark Richt.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
I guess Brad Johnson married Mark Richt's
How about
sister?
that?
That's kind of crazy.
Ancestral, this football thing. All right, second half of the game. Let's talk second half of the game. And again, guys, we're brought to you by MyBookie and Lance's Lock. And make sure that you like and subscribe to our show and the channel, right? We're on Roll Tide Pods. He's Jay Coker. I'm Mick Gillespie. And this is Elephant in the Room. So we get together twice a week, and we're kind of recapping the weekend and talking about Alabama. So first half, 7-6, they're down. Nick Saban, I could tell when he was coming off the field that he knew he was going to whoop ass in the second half. I saw it all over his face. And then that drive, and then the touchdown. And then after that, the defense was like the defense you played with. I mean,
Dallas Turner showed up big time. He was involved in everything.
Yeah. They lost Lawson, and it didn't even affect them. Kool-Aid was amazing. Yep. Malachi Moore was all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Saw him play some man, bring some pressures, and I saw Will Lowry on Twitter. He was like, Jackson Dart looks battered, he looks bruised, tired, worn out, and that's how it should look.
Yeah,
against the Alabama defense. I was like, hell yeah,
and Will's great.
Oh yeah, so I mean, you just, I was watching that game with my father-in-law, one of his buddies, and it was like, man, it's so awesome to see even if we lose, I mean, it's never fun to lose, obviously, but to see them play that way with that much emotion and that much effort, I mean,
they were playing Alabama football.
Yeah, that was the standard in the second half.
That's what,
in the first half they were busting their ass.
Yeah, they were
not all that disciplined, but you saw what they could do when they put it together.
Oh yeah,
and I'm telling you, Jalen Milroe, if he figures out the bad mistakes, I love him.
Yeah. The thing he's got to do is just, like Nick Saban said, just be a point guard. You don't have to make every play.
Yeah.
Don't make any more of don't throw interceptions in the end zone. If we get 3, take the 3.
Yeah.
We got the best field goal kicker. We might have the best one we've ever had. And Kiffin was a great field goal kicker.
Jamie Christensen,
money. I love money. You know, like I'm putting him up there. Proctor was a great field goal kicker. Like I know these guys.
Adam Griffith.
Yeah. but this guy's as good as it comes. And if with this defense, just take the 3. Don't try to force it. Don't make mistakes, because they'll stack up, and eventually the running game's going to beat those guys up anyway.
Yeah, the thing is when you're at Alabama, you got to understand that ball placement is the key, because you have so many athletes around you. As long as you give it to them in a spot where they can catch it and run and make plays, I mean, a lot of times that short throw is going to turn into 20, 30 touchdown, you know? And again, on that smash concept, you got the corner and the stop. I mean, that corner, when I say corner, I mean the flag route, or however you want to, describe it. That corner's dropping. You hit Burton now,
Yeah.
And I understand, you want to throw the touchdown pass. You think you can fit it in there. That corner, sometimes when they show you their chest and they're sideways, sometimes it looks like you can get it over the top of him, but you got to hit that stop route right now. And had he done it, maybe he scores a touchdown, maybe he doesn't.
I saw it was open.
Yeah, but it's not, it's not an interception.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think that just not making mistakes with a defense like this is better than trying to force in a touchdown.
But again, this is the first weekend, and I'm not counting South Florida. This is the first weekend where you can say with a defense like this, because, I mean, Texas was a little nerve-wracking there, no sacks, and they kind of moved the ball pretty well on us. So, hopefully that defense holds. We can play like this week in and week out.
Well, look, I'll tell you why the defense didn't play like this against Texas is communication, and they figured it out.
Yeah.
Like it's the same defense, but they didn't know where to be. You saw constant where they're like, everybody's looking over here.
Yeah.
They figured it out. And honestly, like, I am just glad that Lane, he was the villain that they needed. Him and his mouth and his trolling was the perfect remedy to this. Like, I'm listening to Paul Feinbaum talk about Lane Kiffin today. Last week, he's saying, Nick Saban's just gonna, if he loses, they're gonna run him out of town. I mean, everything's so dramatic. But this week, it's what's Lane Kiffin's best win? Like, we're just like, it goes from crapping on one guy to crapping on the next guy. And I love it. Like, crap on Kiffin. He's like, it's Indiana. They can beat them in a bowl game, and it's so funny. Like okay, you know what? Yeah. That's
South
what you get.
Beat Ole Miss.
That's what you get. That's what you get for the crumbling castles.
That's right.
Your dog's not coming because there's so many 5 stars. Like, come on, man. Like,
oh yeah.
I honestly do enjoy the entertainment value, but I know that Coach Saban doesn't.
No,
I know it. Like,
yeah.
I know it.
He just wants to show up to work, practice, play, and not deal with anything outside of football.
Right.
But, I mean, he's just an old, crusty old man.
Yeah, football, like a 24/7 football coach. But yeah, I love the way that they ran the football at the end of the game. I mean, it just felt like Alabama football to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, they finally towards the end were dominating the line of scrimmage from what it looked like. They were actually getting movement and, not having as many negative runs. That's what kills you is, when you get penetration on those run plays and lose 2-3 yards and put you behind the sticks. I mean, if you're constantly gaining yards, I don't care how many it is, but as long as you're not taking those losses, That's key to being consistent and winning games.
Right. So in that, you saw the post game Kiffin press conference, I watched it, and he was pretty bummed out. You text him and be like, "Hey man, keep your head up." The crazy thing is that this should have been the year for them. They had everything going, and instead of just letting a dead dog lie, right? They're kicking it and everything. Like it was like they woke up Alabama.
Yeah.
I really feel like if they just would have just done like what every other football coach does, and just
instead of ending the dynasty, you were the catalyst to continuing the freight train.
At least it didn't die from him.
Now everybody else on the schedule is like, thanks, Lane.
Yeah, right. Well, the crazy thing is, and we'll talk about Mississippi State because I did watch that game against South Carolina. Will Rogers actually looked pretty good this last game. They didn't win, but they looked good. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. But it's the schedule. I still think it's week to week with these guys. Like I'm not ready to say, "Hey, man, we got this." Like we're gonna beat everybody's ass the rest of the way. I think I think it could potentially happen, but I'm not ready to say that yet.
No, the only thing that gives me so much confidence is the second half. Because you saw the potential there. If they can we had another touchdown call back due to a penalty. If you can just keep those the plays, the detrimental plays.
5 of them now.
Just the bonehead plays. That's the key. And again, I've said this from day one. This team is young, and even the ones who have started for a while, they still have to get used to that, to the new guys around them. With a new quarterback, I don't care how many years you've played, you have to adjust to a new quarterback being in the system. And I think the second half they grew up a lot. I think really, again, until week 6, week 8, depending on how much they mature, you're not going to know how good they are.
Yeah.
Again, we saw their potential, but consistency is the key.
Yeah.
And making it to national championships.
Yeah.
The most talented team doesn't always make it.
No. But you hope that they're together. You hope, because the thing that scared me, and I said it on here, what really worried me is when you start hearing about issues in the locker room and guys not playing their best because this guy's in or that guy's in, that really concerns me. And it really felt like this week was back to being, hey, we're all in this together. And that's what it takes. And it's tough. Look, there's, how many guys on the roster, and there's a lot of dudes in there, and there's a lot of personalities, and there's a lot of people that are pulling in different directions. And it's hard to get everyone to move this way. But Nick Saban's the best that's ever done this, period.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Period.
And again, that's why as we talked last week, I wanted to see Jalen show his toughness and show how much he's dedicated to this team. After I watched that game, it's pretty obvious that guy wants it as bad or more than anybody on that field.
You want to run over there and give him like a chest bump.
Oh, I do. I do.
Every time I saw it, I'm thinking of you, because I'm like, I could see you just running over there.
Want to grab him by the face.
Yeah. Let's go. Oh man,
I love it. I love a guy that's just unselfish. Who can get the limelight, but just kind of throws it off to the side and just is all there for his teammates. That's my favorite thing to watch. That's the best leader, in my opinion, and he's embodying that right now.
Yeah, no pretty boy QBs. Got to go out there and
not
get dirty.
Alabama.
No,
not in Alabama.
Hey, roll Tide. All right, let's talk about some other games. We kind of got into. We talked a little Notre Dame, Ohio State, but we didn't really get into it a whole lot. I thought that was the best game of the entire weekend. Lou Holtz was on Pat McAfee's show.
Two Lou Holtzes.
Yeah, 2 Lou Holtzes. Pat McAfee is a breath of fresh air in the business, man.
Man.
He's so cool. And I've liked him from the minute I saw him. And I don't watch his daily show, but I'm sure it's great, But him on there, and Lou Holtz is talking about toughness and all that. He's also 86, which is crazy to think about, right? And he's just being entertaining, right? And then Ohio State was lucky to win the football game, but they won. No, taking nothing away from them.
Yeah.
Then for Ryan Day to just like go after him in the post game, I was like, okay, like we're here now. I mean, like this is it. Like you're going after 86-year-old Lou Holtz. Like before I ever knew I was coming to Alabama, and I'm an Irish Catholic kid. I'm like, no, Notre Dame's great. Lou Holtz. I remember Lou Holtz. You know? Rocket Ishmael.
It's like the Washington State head coach going after Corso. I mean, what?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Like
nobody even heard the Nobody Watches Bowl. It's like, I mean, it's just funny, and you know.
I'm just like kind of watching that, and I'm like, first off, Ryan Day has the blackest mustache goatee combo I've ever seen. He reminds me of like
that thing's not soft.
No, he just doesn't look like football coach to me.
No, he doesn't.
He looks like one, not the lead pirate, but one of them.
Oh yeah.
And I got, you know, the guy that's got a sword and maybe a parrot.
That's right.
But he has a great football coach. But I just thought like he's like the entire state of Ohio, like, yeah, you're in save your ass mode right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, we can't fire him because the whole country's against us.
Yeah. Literally in that interview, you've got a guy dressed up as Lou Holtz.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I guess he didn't see like the parody and the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe he just read an article. I don't know.
I don't know, but
it's all. I mean, to me, all these coaches use the media as a voice to get to their team. You know, I think all their players saw that and were like, you know, felt comfort and support to their head coach. But I mean,
we got your back, coach.
I think half of these Coach Saban rants where he's just, you know, ripping a reporter's ass. I think he's like, hey man, ask me this question. I'll apologize in advance, but you're about to get it.
Hey, was there ever a time when you like heard? Did you guys watch the press conference? And how many times was that shit directed at you? Because it was always like, well, he's talking to the team right now, you know? And I know he's talking to the team because you'll be like, Coach, what do you think about the offense? Let me tell you something right now. If these guys don't, you know, and you're like, well, what, you know, and everybody's like looking around like, what's he talking about? No, he's talking to the team.
You're like, shit, I hope not.
Yeah. There's a guy named Ian Rappaport who used to cover Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
He used to just irritate the shit out of Nick Saban. It was the best. Like, I used to love I was in for those, and I'd be in there, and I'd be like, oh, this is going to be great. Because Ian never – a lot of these guys get afraid to ask him something because, you know, you're like, you know the things that are going to set him off.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know, he's like, I don't deal in hypotheticals. You know, how many times has he said that, right? We're not looking in the next week's game. We got Chattanooga this week, and we're focused on that. Chattanooga is a 50-point underdog.
Meanwhile, the scout team is
looking at Auburn.
What Auburn looks like.
Yeah, every day for 2 weeks. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite Nick Saban stories is when he first got here, going into the Iron Bowl. I don't know where the video is, but this happened. He was like, we take these like every other game. That's just another game on the schedule. You know, he says that all the time, right? Then we lose, and he goes through it, and he has never said that again. Because there's no telling what they heckled him with. There's no telling what was said to him. And since then, it's not just another game on the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And I love having him on our sideline for that game. We're going for 4 straight this year, by the way.
No, that's right. That's right. I love it. No, I mean, those games, you know, I swear every time we'd go out and we were playing, and again, no disrespect to the smaller schools. I mean, there's a lot of good players that come from there, but obviously
we're not disrespecting anybody.
Obviously,
we're just drinking a couple of cold beers.
Obviously the talent is
it's a different. They know that.
Yeah. I mean, top to bottom, it's different.
Yeah.
And
they didn't have T.O. on the team.
Yeah, that's right. But every time we'd play Coastal Carolina or Middle Tennessee, it was like we get to the third or fourth period in practice, and you felt like there was a staged tantrum thrown, and he was like, restart it. We're restarting practice. y'all suck. It's like, here we go. So we restart practice, and it was like, all right, we gotta show up and beat this team by 40.
Yeah, right. So, but did he ever direct any? Were you ever watching, going, shit, he's talking about me right now?
I mean, when I go back and look at some of those halftime interviews, especially like the national championship my year, I was like, God damn, could have held back just a little bit.
That's, you know what? I didn't even think about you being like the quarterback. I'm just thinking like another player. But the fact that you're the quarterback, everybody's gearing every question at you.
Yeah, that's right.
Be glad that you're not in there knowing any of that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, it's if you play quarterback at Alabama,
that's part of the job,
yeah,
right?
I mean, you're gonna hear it, and it is what it is. You just win a national championship and forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you did
try
that.
to
How
win
cool
a
is
national
that, man? I mean, you won a championship at Alabama.
Still hard to believe.
I'm looking at your Daniel Moore right now as you're talking. There you are. Got me killed that game.
Again, it's still hard to believe. I mean, I remember we've talked about, watching again when I was coming up, Zal and Watts being the guy, and I'm sitting at practice talking to Tyler
you tell Watts that when you see him?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on, tell him.
I'm kidding.
Nah, he's good. You know what? I like him on the radio.
I do too.
I think he does a good job. I text LT last year when he was on with those guys. He would come on like Thursdays or Fridays. And all the times that he was doing like the post games and stuff, it didn't bring out his personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not like when they would have him on the show and then he would just like tell these stories and he just cut loose,
Oh yeah.
And then and not to say I listen to every post game, but I listen to a lot of them because I used to do the post game that came on after the post game, in Tuscaloosa, which sucked. It was hard to be sober for, to be honest with you. Ask Mike Johnson. But I mean, like now it's like, man, I love him. Like I last year, like listen, I didn't want to miss any of his segments, and then I think he's doing a good job, man.
I think he's great.
Breath of fresh air, man. He's great.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Not that I didn't like JP either. I mean, I liked him too, but I'm just saying, like he does a great job.
Yeah, no, I mean they were those two. I mean, they're mix and match. They're both, but
different style of broadcasting.
That's right. That's right.
You can tell, like Watts has been doing this for a long time, but it's like it's all coming together now.
Mm-hmm. He's just got to figure out that live broadcasting method, I guess. But which he's already got down pretty down pat.
Maybe he's the next Snake. Did you listen to Snake growing up?
Oh yeah,
man, Snake was. I
was talking about that today with somebody.
Yeah, what a cool dude, man. I remember coming down here. Yeah,
smooth analysis. It was so. I mean,
well, look, let's go ahead and call it right now. He's the coolest MFer ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, like just oh yeah, I like baseball. I got drafted in the second round by the Padres. But I went to the NFL and won some Super Bowls. I won a national championship.
What a shot.
Yeah, right. This round's on me, guys. Like just always cool.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
long hair till to the end, the white hair coming in, like just it's
just that classic, like, I mean, when you think of Alabama football, you think Kenny Stabler.
Yeah, right. You do. I loved him. Man, I don't know that. Look, the bar is so high. From back in those days with him and Eli, back in those days. Like I don't know that radio. People just watch the games now, so I don't know that we're ever going to have that again. Like we're like you got this dude like that, but these guys do a great job too. It's different. Like Snake.
Yeah, I mean
that Snake.
I will tell you, actually, I mean, I've gone back and watched the second half. I did. I mean, when I was young, a lot of times we'd, watch the TV, mute it, and put Kenny Stabler and Eli Gold on.
You had to,
even though it was before. They'd tell you what happened before you'd be watching, but
you didn't get it synced up like you can sync it up now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it was, I mean, just classic. Made you feel, you were in Alabama. It was awesome. And I listened to the third quarter live on the radio. And again, I've gone back and watched it now, but it was, I mean, Tyler did a great job. He's figuring it out for sure.
Yeah. I listened to a little of one of their games a couple weeks ago, and I was impressed.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's going to be like replacing Coach Saban when he leaves.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough job, man. But it's fun. Like that. I look, I've spent my life doing radio, so I there's just something magical about being on the radio. You know, I mean, you can be out like in the hunt, in a hunting camp, and you don't have a TV, you're in a deer stand somewhere and you got the game on. And the guys that are good at it can just like give you that mental picture.
Oh yeah.
Which is that's why it's an art,
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember when I came home from Arizona and got back to Mobile, and this is, just coming back, I used to love listening to the radio, even talk radio and Mobile, the local channels.
Yeah, me too.
And Randy Kennedy and Craig Stevenson.
Yeah, I know Randy.
And I used to love.
Shout out to Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Better hear this, Randy.
Yeah, so
I might text you.
When I got back home, that was and again, football was over. I was rehabbing my knee. It was like I'd listen to them every afternoon, whatever I was doing, and just made me feel like I was back home again.
Yeah,
that was cool. Just that there's something different about good radio.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right, any other games that we want to talk about? We're in overtime right now, by the way, but we felt like we needed to give you guys, the audience, a little something extra because I was doing baseball, I was in the press box, you were doing your thing, you were in a bank. We still gave you a show though, so you can't hold it against us.
That's right.
This is the makeup.
The only one I really saw. I mean, Jimbo needs to work on his tackling.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Auburn against Texas A&M.
I mean, that's one I watched. Auburn looks like they're going to have a rough year.
Florida State Clemson. We got to talk about that.
Yeah. But Auburn looks like, gave you some flashes and hope at the beginning of the year, but now they're it's going to be a rebuilding year for sure.
I'm tell you something, Jake. We can't get there fast
enough. Hey, as long as it's in Jordan Air.
Oh, let's get that one out of the way, because you know what happens when they come our way.
Yeah, hey man, there's something about Jordan Hare.
I know it's tough.
I don't know what it is.
It's Auburn Jesus.
Oh yeah, I mean
he's a real person.
When we played there my senior year, I remember I was there. We just scored, and then Jeremy Johnson throws a touchdown pass to Jason Smith. I don't know if you remember this. He throws it over the middle, and I mean, Geno Smith he's going for the ball, misses him, and Jason Smith hits it with his right hand, taps it up in the air, and catches it and runs for a touchdown.
I remember.
I mean, and we should have beat Auburn worse than we did, but it just, that touchdown kept it closer. But, I mean, me and Kenyon Drake look at each other. We're like, I mean, only in Auburn.
Yeah, only Auburn Jesus. I was there with my buddy Ben George, and we've gone to some Iron Bowls before. We went to the 12 sack Iron Bowl, and we're walking down. This is with Brody.
Honk if you sack Brody.
Yeah. And we're walking down the street, and this guy in a megaphone's like yelling at Ben. And I'll never forget that. And then obviously that what happened. So we go to this with your game. We're there, and halftime. I don't know if we were losing or what was going on, but he was panicking. And I said, bro, we got Derrick Henry. We're gonna run these guys over in the second half. Just calm down. I gave him the Daniel Moore print from the game because I was like, that's, he needed that. I just knew that they weren't good enough to beat that out.
Yeah. I mean,
with Derrick Henry, but at the same time, they put a scare in you, man. They always do.
Oh yeah.
They fight their asses off, man. I got nothing but respect for them.
Yeah. I mean, I
love beating them there though.
No, that's right. That's
great.
Right.
I've been to some wins there. Including the first one.
Appreciate them when we got them.
Oh, love it. I love it. I love it when you walk in and they're like, oh, we stink this year. I'm always like, okay, yeah, I'll be all right.
Oh, yeah.
I was the guy telling them, don't fire Brian Harsin.
Yeah, let's keep him around as long as we can.
I was like, look, man, the guy's laying out a plan for you.
Hopefully 10-year plan.
Yeah, like what he's doing, you guys need to buy into.
All in, right?
Yeah. Well, but the reason why is that when Shula was there, I'm in Galette's, minding my own business, drinking Yellowhammers, getting ready for a game against them, and they had the "Don't Fire Shula" shirts on and stuff, and I'll never forgive them for that. But I told you before, the reason that we have Saban is because they were heckling Mal so bad after we lost down there.
Yeah,
talking to all the when they win, it's different than I'm telling you right now. Our thing is win with dignity and respect, lose with dignity and respect. We're Alabama, man. We've done it all.
Oh yeah.
Like tell the walk-ups and stuff. Like, look, man, just be respectful. You're coming into the shrine right now.
No, yeah.
We don't need you to talk smack to any of the other fans. Just be cool, and we'll take care of it on the football field. We've done that for about 100 years now.
Yeah.
Actually, 100 years now. So just like, I know you watch on TV and you're here and you're excited. Hey, just be respectful. That's right. That's what we do. That's right. I got told that when I came to college at Alabama as a KA, like, hey man, you know what? We're not rushing the field, and we're not going to scream at the people walking out of the stadium, and we're not cussing at anybody and all this stuff.
I mean, I still love the fact. I mean, even the Texas game it sucked, but they're smoking cigars in the locker room, like they just won a national championship, and
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Texas would have rushed the field had they beaten us at their place.
Look, they're still looking for Tennessee's goalpost, and they've got Christmas ornaments on their trees. Right. And it's like, okay, man, if that's what you guys do, like, okay, we're just trying to get it all figured out. Because when we do, it's bad news for all you guys.
I mean, Alabama almost has to rehearse an exit strategy for if they lose, because know that the fans are going to be on the field.
I know. All right, last thing we'll talk about. This is, I guess, our 2-minute warning, because you and I could probably sit here for another hour.
It was a good weekend.
I know.
It was a good weekend.
I'm telling you, man, I have been so excited about sitting down with you and talking some football and drinking
Such
beer.
a fun game to talk about.
Oh, man, I'm so happy. You know why I'm happy? Because I see what's going on now. They see what's going on now.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if we came in here and lost to Castles Crumbling and the dog, and can you imagine?
Would have been a worse show than last Thursday.
Oh man, him playing both sides like he does, like, come on,
the tweet afterwards, just kind of like,
yeah, come on, bro, like, give me a break, man. Just go on and worry about what's coming up. Because when you lose to LSU, now people are going to want to fire you. Which is going to happen unless they win. I think they have a talented team, but now all of a sudden, you pull all those antics.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd say this, though. Have you seen the line on that one?
What is it?
I think it's Ole Miss +3.
I'm a sucker, man.
No, you are.
I'm taking those Tigers. I'm taking those Tigers.
Well, I guess I'm taking Ole Miss.
Don't bet. Like, I'm going to ask Lance. And you guys can do the same thing at Lance's lock. Please don't listen to anything I'm saying. I'm having the worst year I've ever had in football.
It has been a strange year. It has been a strange year.
But like I told you, Kenny White looked at me. He's our sharp that comes on my show, my Friday show out in Vegas. He's on all over the place. You see him on CBS and stuff. He's been, he lives in Vegas. He's been doing this forever. And he was like, he looks at my 1-8 and he's like, Mick, it's hard to do that.
I was literally about to tell you, statistically, it's pretty hard to go 1-8.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, now I'm like 2-11 or something. Like, it's crazy. Oof. I know. All right. Clemson and Florida State. I watched the game. And I'm gonna throw it out there, man. When the GOAT leaves, man, I'm all about Dabo. I really like Dabo. Like I used to do a show with Jay Barker. I know, like, I've heard all the stories about Dabo. I'm the first time I met him, he was a real estate guy, and I was in Alabama's locker room.
Dabo was a real estate guy?
Yeah, he was in the locker room, and I was there, actually the equipment room going way back, and everybody loved him. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, this guy's like coaching for Tommy Bowden. And then he's like the head coach. And then he beats us twice for championships.
And he was what, like 36 when he was the head coach? Head coach.
So I guess he had just finished. I don't know, man. Don't age me on here, Jake. But I'm telling you, he is a great guy. And I think like when that time comes, maybe he's got to figure out. And I think Nick, the same thing for Nick. You got to figure out the transfer portal.
Yeah,
you got to get in that game a little harder.
Man, I don't know if anybody figures it out. I mean,
you can't. You got going into a season like this.
The only person that I feel like is going to really figure it out, because I think people will go play for Dion whether they're paid a lot or not. Well, is Dion.
Yeah, but we're the same. I mean, Dion's got the Dion thing, and I know that's going to work. And I believe him when he says, "Hey, get us now."
Yeah,
because I know he's going to have a team.
Oh yeah.
If Oregon was staying in the same conference, their coach isn't talking like that. Because he knows.
Oh yeah.
He's going to try to be able to go into recruits and all that. Look, bro, you should do this now, because you're not going to want to tangle with this guy. Dion's going to be able. They're going to have a whole team of 5 stars like Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
I know it's coming.
I mean,
wouldn't you want to play for him if you weren't playing at Alabama? Wouldn't you want to play for Dion?
Yeah, well, as long as his son's not named the starter before he gets there.
But say you're coming in after him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm
he has been really good.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, especially, I mean,
is this his last year, Shador, or does he have another year?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's going to get quarterbacks. He's going to get whoever he wants,
right?
And again, me knowing what I know now, especially, I mean, Sal was one of my favorite coaches when I was in college. Coach Kelly was one of my favorites. Tim Brewster was one of my favorites. Yeah. I mean, he's got an all-star group behind him. Yeah. I mean, I know Coach Brewster had the viral video of the sit up, sit down, stand up, sit up.
Yeah.
But he is a great guy. They all are. And so, I mean, the culture he's building there is just going to be unstoppable, especially in a few years.
Well, you see what Travis Hunter looks like. I mean, and I remember, look, I was at a baseball game when Dion was on the Yankees.
Yeah.
And we went to the game, and I remember my friend was like, hey, that's Deion Sanders. He plays football too. And, like he grounded out the shortstop, but like ran so fast, I think he got got on base,
Yeah.
And no one even knew really who he was. I mean, this was like probably his rookie year. And then he was a decent baseball player, and he's the best cornerback I've ever seen.
I think Dan Patrick was going through his stats, like in the World Series for the Braves, and I mean, he was batting over 300.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, when he was with the Braves, he had figured it out. He wasn't like the guy batting 125 for the Yankees. But I mean, he was.
Again, this guy.
He's a great
everything
athlete.
He's ever done. He's been successful in. I mean, he's going to figure it out. He's got that. When he speaks to people, you just know that energy he has. He's going to figure it out.
All right, Florida State and Clemson. What do you think?
Florida State, I mean, played one of their worst games they could have played and still came out with a victory against Clemson at Clemson. And that Clemson, I don't know if you've ever been there.
Isn't it?
I don't know if you've ever been there. It
I have been.
So loud in that place.
I have been. I went when
and Clemson had their game and they survived. I mean, this is one of those. Everybody has them, plays and 11 o'clock kickoff. I mean, or noon kickoff, whatever it was, showed, they can figure out a way to win. Florida State's going to be in the playoff.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think that
quarterback is.
Yeah, he's legit.
He's the real deal.
I felt like that's the toughest game, one of the toughest games. I thought Clemson was ready for him.
Yeah,
Clemson should have won, but they didn't. And when you're in that spot where you're Florida State and you're trying to get back to the championship Florida State teams, you have those games. But they found the way. And I knew when they went into overtime, I said, these guys are winning this game. And this is a turning point for them.
Overtime's an underdog killer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's whenever, the good team figures out how to play. And if you score a touchdown as an underdog, you better go for 2.
Yep. That's something that you'll hear Lance say a lot. And don't forget our show Brought to you by Lance's Lock and My Bookie. And guys, we appreciate it. We will talk to you again later this week. Jake, anything else before we wrap it up today?
I'm a huge Jalen Milroe fan. Love him to death.
Love it, man.
I can't wait to see him the rest of the season.
This is exciting.
Yeah,
you're all in now.
Hey, I've said it on podcasts previous to this. Depends on how he develops, and he's looking really good right now. I know he made a few mistakes, but I think we're in good hands.
I felt the same way too.
Here's my thing: he's an unselfish player, loves playing for Alabama. Obviously, loves his teammates. You're in good hands with a guy like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's plenty of really bad, unselfish football players too.
Look, I know what you mean.
He's got the talent.
Yeah, look, he definitely took a really big step on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can see in the deep balls, he's got talent.
Yeah.
I mean, that third quarter throw he made on that post route, I mean, that was taking a shot, throwing it a dime. I mean, not many guys. I don't care what team you look at. There's not many guys that can make that throw. He's just. I think he's there for Alabama. He's there for his teammates. And if he can throw the ball like that, we're in good shape. Just stay away from the picks.
Yeah, just don't turn the ball over, guys. We're going to be back later this week, and when we are, we'll talk about Alabama playing midnight against Mississippi State. Well, not midnight, but I mean, how about that?
8 o'clock.
Yeah, about that start time. And we'll get into some more stuff there too. But thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Roll Tide Pods, part of Disrupt the Media. And of course, our show is Elephant in the Room. He's Jay Coker, and I'm Mick Gillespie, and we had a great time with you guys. Roll Tide. We'll talk to you again later.